Disliked voice actress AIMEE Smith issues apology after English industry colleagues attack her for accepting the role of a non-white character. And you guys thought this wasn't coming back. Greetings once again, my friends, and welcome back to the GNRO Minicast. Obviously, I've taken some time to be able to properly do this and also try out a new format. Hopefully, I will be able to get this out regularly as opposed to nothing, which is what I've done over the last few months, and I apologize for that. But I figured the first video that we should probably do coming back is an issue that I actually hold near and dear to my heart, which is the bullshit that keeps happening in the voice acting industry, in particular with the notion that apparently we have to cast characters based on their race. But let's go ahead and get into the story that we have today. And once again, I have Bounding Into Comics to thank my buddies over at Bounding Into Comics for getting this article out. And it is from Nerdigans. So let's go ahead and step into this, shall we? In the English voice acting industry, there has been a growing demand from activists for authentic casting, or race-based casting in animation, particularly in regards to black characters being portrayed by similarly skinned actors. Basically, the premise is you cannot play this character if you're not the exact same skin color as them. And in pursuit of this goal, such viewers often take to attacking any white voice actor who is cast in any role any darker than actual snow, and as they believe them to be stealing a given role from a minority demographic, which in essence is a stupid argument, because they are playing a character in an animated form of entertainment. In this case, a video game, which, yeah, is animated. The latest victim of this race-based obsession was English language voice actress AIMEE Smith. Perhaps best known as the voice of Freedom Planet 2's Milla Bassett, Smith came under fire after publicly announcing that she had been cast in the Chinese gacha game Dislight, as both the Japanese esper Yuhime and the Egyptian esper Ain. I'm so excited to share that I voiced both Izanami and Ain in the latest Dislight Sea of Sorrow event. She announced on May 2nd, so honored to have now voiced 5 espers in Dislight. Wah! So this is her official tweet when she announced that she had been cast for these characters. Awesome, good on you. It sounds to me like you've been very busy with Dislight. I like the fact that you're basically a repeat voice actor and they keep paying you because you keep doing a good job. That's great. I love hearing about that in voice acting. Similar to Netflix's Queen Cleopatra, thanks to her Egyptian ethnicity, many activists have taken to claiming that not only is Ain a black character, but that Smith is a racist for having taken the role. What? So because she took a role in a job that she loves doing, she's a racist for it. What's funny is, and I don't know if this article actually mentions it, this has been happening quite a lot, and it's been happening over the last few years, because once again, I am reminded of the Laura Bailey controversy in the fact that she played a black Australian woman in Uncharted 4. It's just a job. It should just be a job. There's nothing racist about taking a job. However, rather than the typical mob of terminally online social media users, which is usually what comes out here, though they were present in the discourse as well, Smith received the most flack from several of her industry colleagues. Wait, what? Amongst the industry critics included Atlas talent English voice actor rep Joshua David King, who inquired if Smith was given Ain's character art, that the white voice actress knew she was auditioning for a black character. And this is the actual tweet here. Did you see the character art before booking? That is very clearly a black character, so I thought I'd ask. That's very interesting. So you don't want her to play this character because of the skin color. Well, let's just do a thought experiment, shall we? Based on what you want, let's see if you practice what you preach. So I actually did the footwork for you guys, and I looked up Joshua David King's IMDb. First of all, let's go ahead and put up a picture of Joshua David King, shall we? So this is Joshua David King. Okay, he's a black voice actor. Cool. Now, let's see if he practices what he preaches. So let's go ahead and go into his resume for just a second. And what we're going to do is I like to do the 3-strike system. If you hit 3 strikes of doing what you claim that they shouldn't be doing, you're out. And so at that point, let's go ahead and start up. Oh, you've been on Fire Emblem Heroes. That's another video game. Shall we go ahead and check this out? So this is the character that you play in Fire Emblem Heroes, Jeffrey. That's a clearly white character, and you're a black voice actor. I'm going to go ahead and call this strike 1. Okay, so the next one we got here is you have done Cookie Run Kingdom. Okay, so here's Cream Unicorn Cookie. That's clearly a pink-skinned character. You're not pink. Should I call this strike 2? Let's play nice and just assume, because this is obviously a very fictional character, doesn't really exist. We'll go ahead and give you a slide for this one. Just this one time, Joshua. So let's go ahead and look up. Oh, you also did Genshin Impact. Okay, let's go ahead and look up your characters. So you play the character Kosuke in Genshin Impact, and oh look, we have another problem here. That's a white character, and you're a black voice actor. Strike 2. Well, unfortunately, Joshua David King doesn't really have a whole lot on his resume, and oh wait, looky here, he also played another character in Genshin Impact. Let's take a gander, shall we? You also played the character Chang Ping in Genshin Impact, and well, the name implies maybe an Asian descent. White skin, but we'll assume Asian. You're playing an Asian character and you're a black voice actor. I'm going to go ahead and call it. So that's strike 3. Joshua David King, you're a racist, you're a hypocrite, and you need to shut the fuck up. So back on to the story. Likewise, industry audio engineer Eliana Zebro, whose credits include serving as a dialogue editor for such video games as Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak and Strangers in Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, Press Smith came on Twitter and saw this in my For You. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is Ein a person of color? Okay, let's go ahead and do what we did with Joshua. So obviously she's an audio engineer. She doesn't really have any voice roles to her name, so I have a professional problem with that because, well, as an audio engineer, you should be able to do multiple things. And then I look at your picture and, oh God!
We missed you, Karen! Where have you been?
She just screams Karen, doesn't she? Oh, beware, she might call my manager. Good luck with that. So we're gonna go ahead and throw her out because she doesn't really have any other roles and she's an audio engineer, and frankly, I do not trust those crazy eyes. So let's go ahead and go on. A warning to VAs, don't do this. It will never be worth the booking, wrote Michelle Rojas, the voice of Xion in That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. This casting director didn't care, but many do, and it doesn't go unnoticed. We have to trust in our actors, and this is a red flag. Okay, so thankfully, Michelle Rojas has a little bit more of a resume to be able to work with. And thankfully, she also has a website, and oh boy, does she just look so happy to be there taking the picture for you. So she's Korean American. All right, so half Asian, half white. That at least gives us something to be able to work with. I also love the fact that she's an LGBT ally. That's going to probably play into things, because we have to be embracing all across the board, boys and girls. We just have to do that. So let's go ahead and look into the characters that we have. Okay, she was in Spy X Family in 2022, and Ewan Eggeberg. So this is Ewan Eggeberg. That's a white boy. You're playing a white boy. Michelle, you're half white, not full white, and you're a girl. Not a boy. I know it sucks to hear that, but, well, biology exists, and you just have to live with it. So I think we have to call this a strike. Not only is it racist, but it's also sexist. So strike 1. Okay, moving on down in here, and oh, look! She also plays Roro Soul in My Hero Academia. Another white boy. But clearly you learned from 2022 that you shouldn't do this, Michelle. You shouldn't. Oh, 2021, World Heroes Mission, it's a movie. Huh. So she didn't learn from this role, and then she still did Ewan Eggeberg in 2022. I'm going to call this strike 2 because you're being sexist because you're not a little boy. And obviously, only little boys can play little boy roles by your logic, not mine, by yours. Now, technically, she does play a lot of Asian characters in anime, and so, you know, she's Korean American. I think that pretty much covers things, although you're half Asian. You shouldn't be playing full Asian characters. But then we have to go down to the 2000 version of The Vision of Escaflowne, where she played Naria. Naria is a Catwoman. Are you a Catwoman, Michelle? Do you actually have cat DNA in you? I find this funny because you're an LGBTQIA plus ally, and some people believe themselves to be cats. Are you a cat? Well, I'm looking at your picture right now on your website, and clearly no cat ears. So obviously you shouldn't be playing cat people. So we'll just go ahead and call this strike 3. Michelle Rojas, you're a racist, you're a sexist, you're anti-LGBTQIA plus, you're a hypocrite, and shut the fuck up. Replying to Rojas, industry casting director Samantha Morrison not only voiced her agreement, but also chastised her for not rejecting the role the moment she saw that Ayn had darker skin than herself. Okay, let's go ahead and look her up because, I mean, we already have a pattern here, but let's just double check, shall we? So I did find it funny that I immediately came across this when looking up Samantha A. Morrison, a Texas transplant that came to California with nothing but a suitcase and a dream. Okay, well that explains her casting. So she's basically one of the racist casting directors that came out of California. That's great, I guess. So she's been doing the casting and probably been endorsing a lot of this race-based casting system. And I also love the fact that she has pronouns, because that's always a sign of mental illness on your Twitter. In the wake of so we're just gonna go ahead and lump her in there as we go. In the wake of this backlash, Smith returned to her Twitter account the day after her initial announcement to apologize for taking the role. Don't do that. Ever. I wasn't cool when Hank Azarian did it. I'm never okay with it. You took a job. There's nothing wrong with it. And I'm not going to read the public apology. I will at least probably put up a link for you guys where AIMEE Smith apologized for it. Never apologize, especially to these people. And by these people, I mean stupid people who spend upwards of 16 plus hours on Twitter. Do not ever apologize to these people, because I can guarantee you they aren't going to support Disliked. They aren't going to support you, not just as a voice actress, but also because you're white. And whether or not they like that I say this, they're the actual racists in the room. This is annoying because this system is screwing people out of money, and the only reason that they're screwing them is because they don't like white people. That's the bottom line. They don't like white people. They don't like the fact that white people are getting cast, especially in voice acting, and you need to get over it. That's the bottom line, because at that point, yeah, you're the casting director, and by the way, I would never actually be in a casting room with you, Samantha, because I'm pretty sure you just lump me out right off the bat. And the funniest thing is, all of these people, I guarantee you, they are just hoping to be able to help the oppressed masses, but they don't realize that the ideology that they're supporting is all about control. It's not that you want to make sure that oppressed cultures aren't oppressed anymore. You just want your turn at the whip, is what you really want. So I have some overall advice for all of the people involved in this particular story, because this is all stupid. And this is a practice that needs to be taken out of film industry, the video game industry, the anime industry, all of that. Race-based casting is bullshit, and it should never dictate whether or not a person gets that role. What should dictate it is if you are the best fit for the role. And that is determined by the producers, the directors, the better casting directors than Samantha A. Morrison, and of course, other people involved as well. It's their call. It's not ours. They are picking who will meet their vision to the utmost that it can be met. That's all that's happening here. But let's go ahead and give some final advice for all the bigots in the room. Just like the Michael Jordan meme says, stop it. Get some help. And if you actually are getting help, well, my advice is to you fire those people, because I can guarantee, given what I've seen from your tweets thus far, they have not helped you one bit. And I think you should also try and get your money back and get an actual therapist that'll help you out. That would be the best advice that I can give to Samantha A. Morrison, to Alina, to Michelle, and to Joshua. Either that, or you could just step off Twitter for like 3 days and realize just how stupid Twitter is. My advice to AIMEE Smith is simply this: don't be ashamed of the fact that you got cast. And more importantly, never apologize to these people. The only reason that they're coming out is not because you're holding the oppressed people down. They are pissed that they are not in the same situation as you. They don't feel they are successful. They feel you are successful, and they want to stop that because you're a white woman trying to be successful and working hard in order to do so. These people can just plainly fuck off. And that's going to go ahead and do it for this. So once again, thank you to Bounding Into Comics for this wonderful story by Nerdigans. I appreciated it. And I also like the fact that you shined a very big light on this issue, especially since this isn't the only one occurring. As you point out, that we have plenty of other racist casting that is happening, and also a bunch of dumbass voice actors who are supporting race-based casting. I, for one, will point out that I have lost a lot of respect for one Steve Bloom, because as you can see in a related article, he endorsed the Proud Family louder and prouder. You know, the one that teaches critical race theory. That's just the ideology I want my kids to follow. Or even better, attacking the casting of Soletta in the English dub of Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury. So thank you so much, Bounding Into Comics, for bringing this to light. And thank you, Nerdigans, for writing the article. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for joining me on this little journey back into the GNRO Minicast. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like down there, as well as consider subscribing to check out all the other podcast content that I do. This is just basically a mini-cast where we do the actual podcast once a month now and just cover the biggest stories that happen in that month. And you can support all of that podcast stuff not only on YouTube, but also on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Player.fm, and Spotify. So you guys can support us there, and thank you so much for listening, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Until then, take care.